What's up anime fans? Today's video is gonna be about my summer season 2023 anime recommendations. We got Mushoku Tensei, Bleach 1000 Year Blood War, Jujutsu Kaisen and much more exciting releases this summer. I'm gonna start with a quick edit of the already known anime that got their second or later seasons, then the rest of the new shows. Komura is a middle school boy who is head over heels in love with his next seat neighbor Mie, a girl with terrible eyesight who just can't get used to carrying her glasses, often leaving them at home or accidentally breaking them. He opts to help her as much as he possibly can, and through those efforts she begins getting acquainted with his kindness. Akira's life has lost its luster. He lives in a trash-filled apartment, his pay is abysmal, and he can't even muster up the nerve to confess his love to his beautiful co-worker. But when a zombie apocalypse ravages his town, it gives him the push he needs to live for himself. A brow-beaten and mistreated daughter is cast out of her family home and sent to audition as a bridal candidate for the heir to one of the most powerful families in the land. Mio is packed off to the Kudo house as a bridal candidate for its heir Kyokakudo, a commander apparently so cold and cruel that his previous would-be brides all fled within 3 days of their engagements. Soon she finds out that her pale and beautiful husband isn't the monster she had expected. At Academy Island, everything is settled through games waged for a certain number of stars, with the strongest student being granted the ranking of 7 stars. Hiroto unexpectedly beats the strongest empress in the school, and so a mind game of lies and bluffs begins. Oliver Horn's objective is to exact vengeance on the members of Kimberly's faculty that brutally murdered his mother. However, upon meeting a samurai girl from the distant nation of Yamatsu, his curiosity heightened with the samurai girl Nanao Hibiya. Alongside her, he meets several students which he quickly becomes friends with. Kimberly Academy has never once seen a school year pass without having to deal with a student's death. Himura Kenshin, once known as Hitokiri Battosai, was feared as the most ruthless killer of all the revolutionaries. Now haunted by guilt, Kenshin has sworn to never take a life again in atonement for all the killings he did in the past. He joins up with Kaoru in a small dojo where he settles in, but not for long, as his awful past keeps pushing him into unwanted bloody battles. Long time ago, a demon lord terrorized the whole world until a hero stepped up and defeated him. He then created Rosewood Academy to help heroes in training to be able to defend the world when needed. Blade and Ernest Flaming, who seems equal in terms of power, meet up by the request of the king to show around the academy during his stay. Shinozaki is an office worker who is taken care of and cuddled by his senior team member Shiore Katase, who is a gorgeous, profoundly kind, loving and diminutive woman. Shinozaki certainly hopes that she's not doing it out of duty, but her joy of doing so increasingly exposes her feelings. Saint Cecilia is beloved by the townspeople. Not only is she elegant and composed, she benevolently shares her wisdom with all who seek it. That is until the last person has left, at which point she becomes totally hopeless. Only Pastor Lawrence is keeping the saint put together enough to do her duties, and though she may test him, it's all in a day's work. Crushed by a vending machine, he finds himself reincarnated into it in another world. Boxo vending machine requires coins to keep itself stocked. Powered and upgraded with new skills, gradually it makes an impact in the world around it, gaining numerous allies despite the lack of movement and communication. Wataru Saju, who's deeply in love with his beautiful classmate Aika Natsukawa, approaches her without getting discouraged while having dreams about their mutual love. Suddenly he loses confidence on being together with her and starts to distance himself. Upon realizing this, Aika misunderstands his behavior and instead believes that he hates her. A shut-in is reborn into another world with the promise of a peaceful life. Although born into royalty, his magic appeared to be weak, so his parents abandoned him without a first thought in the forest to be devoured by monsters. However, his magic is in fact inhumanly strong. Keitaro Gentuga is a college freshman who hates ghosts. Unluckily for him, he has a knack for attracting spirits. 2 years ago, this connection had led to him receiving a spiritual injury on his right hand, with his friend getting caught in the crossfire. The event caused him to become a shut-in, leaving him with very poor social skills. Fortunately, Keitaro is slowly starting to mingle with society, thanks to the help of his childhood friend Eiko Hozuki. While humanity celebrates the defeat of the Demon King by the hands of a lone hero, the denizens of the demon world prepare for the contest of a lifetime, a tournament to decide who will inherit the title of Demon King. 3 months later, being at the top with a smile and a wave, Helck easily bests his demonic competition, all while loudly proclaiming his hatred for humans. Though he calls for the destruction of them, the truth of what lies behind his cheery facade remains a mystery. Stout Razorlin, a girl living on Kekkon Island in search of adventure. She discovers an abandoned rowboat one summer day and sets out to the mainland with her friends. Along the way, Ryza meets an alchemist and his companion, which sets her on the path of learning alchemy and her intertwining adventures, and she soon discovers the truth about her home. The end of the 19th century. A vampire's wife is murdered and the detective known as the cage user is called in to solve the crime. But there's more to the detective and the curtained birdcage he carries. After all, when solving a case involving a monster, it might just take one to know one. No one can live alone, is what Akimitsu Akagami's father always says. He surely didn't have the best intentions and his son isn't interested to become a creep like him. However, when a chance encounter with a young woman leaves him with impure thoughts, he decides to become a Buddhist monk, although the temple he decides to devote himself into is full of women. When Saku took in a stray cat, she never expected that he would become the equivalent of a housekeeping partner. But Yukichi, a giant cat who towers over Saku, is not your ordinary feline. He takes great pride in his culinary skills, and a good sale at the supermarket always gets his whiskers twitching. Yanagi Yukito is an orphan who one day encounters an eccentric disciple of his father's. This strange man takes him to his birthplace on Ayakajima, made up of 7 islands where mysterious beings called Mitama and dragons are rumored to reside. There, Yukito meets his father's 2 other disciples who protect the harmony of Ayakajima, which soon threatens to collapse. 10 years ago, the hero Max defeated the Demon Lord, whom went into a deep slumber to regain his power. When he awakens, his body becomes a chibi version of his previous powerful form, so he decides to visit Max, only to discover that the mighty hero is living in a one-room dirty apartment. Ultimately, he moves in with the hero and helps him become a fearsome foe again. After the commander collapses, Queen Elizabeth decides to fill in for him in secret alongside a select few and her longtime friend Warspite. Soon she realizes that taking on the role of a leader is not an easy task. That was my summer season 2023 anime recommendation list. I hope that you have a great time watching these upcoming shows, and until then, see you anime fans on the next video here on Cocktail Anime, and as always, take care.